What are schools of thought? Why do we see this term everywhere in philosophy, politics, and economics? A school of thought is a systematic way of thinking, created by a group of people who share similar ideas about life, humans, society, and reality. It gives us a framework to answer big questions. Think of a school of thought like a pair of glasses. Put on one pair, and the world looks a certain way. Put on another, and everything changes. Different people, different beliefs, different lenses, different schools of thought. Why do schools of thought matter? Because they build the foundation of the world we live in. Governments choose policies based on a political school of thought. Economic systems like capitalism or socialism come from an economic school of thought. Philosophers explore the meaning of life through philosophical schools of thought. The laws we live under, the rights we have, the education we receive, even the way wealth is distributed in our country. All of these exist because someone believed in a school of thought. Often, without us noticing, we are shaped by ideas created long before we were born. Every school of thought tries to answer questions like, what is a human being? Are we free, good or bad, emotional or rational? What is reality? Is the world only physical? Does the mind create meaning? Is there a God? How should society be organized? Who should have power? Freedom or order? Individual or collective? How should wealth be handled? Should everyone be equal? Should markets be free? Should the government control the economy? Different answers create different schools of thought. There are three major categories we explore in this series. Philosophical schools. They ask, who are we? What is the meaning of life? What is truth? What is right or wrong? Examples: Existentialism, Stoicism, Materialism, Idealism, and Skepticism. Political and social schools. They ask, who should rule? How should society be structured? Which matters more, freedom or order? Examples: Liberalism, Communism, Socialism, Fascism, and Anarchism. Economic schools. They ask, who controls wealth and production? How do we reduce poverty? What role should the government play? Examples: Capitalism, Marxist economics, Keynesian economics, and Neoliberalism. In reality, schools of thought often overlap. Marxism is a philosophy, a political ideology, and an economic theory. Liberalism includes ideas about human rights, democracy, and free markets. Feminism is both a movement and a philosophy. These categories help us understand ideas more clearly, but they are not strict boundaries. Why learn all this? Because if we understand the ideas behind the world, we understand why the world works the way it does. When someone talks about politics, when a government changes an economic rule, or when a philosopher questions the meaning of life, you will know which school of thought is speaking. Knowing ideas gives you awareness. Awareness gives you power. So here is the summary. A school of thought is a system of organized ideas. It influences how we interpret life, society, and reality. It shapes our laws, freedoms, and economic systems. There are three major types: philosophical, political, and social, and economic. And many of them connect and evolve. In the next video, we explore philosophical schools, beginning with existentialism, the school that says we are free and we must choose. Follow this series to explore the ideas that built our world.
Humans have always asked the biggest questions. Who are we? Why do we exist? What is real? What is right and wrong? And what is the purpose of life? Philosophical schools of thought are different ways to answer these questions, shaping how we think about ourselves, our choices, and the universe. Let's explore 5 major philosophical schools that have deeply influenced human thinking: Existentialism, Stoicism, Materialism, Idealism, and Skepticism. First, Existentialism says that human beings are free, and with this freedom comes responsibility. We must create meaning through our choices. Second, Stoicism teaches that peace comes from within ourselves. We cannot control everything, but we can always control our reactions. Third, Materialism claims that everything that exists is physical. Human thoughts and consciousness are results of the brain's physical processes. Fourth, Idealism says that the mind and ideas are the foundation of reality. The world is shaped by how we think and interpret it. Fifth, Skepticism questions whether we can ever be completely certain about anything. It uses doubt and critical thinking to explore what we can truly know. Philosophy helps us search for truth and understand what it means to be human. It shapes our values, identity, and how we live our lives. Learning about these schools gives you the tools to think clearly, ask better questions, and form your own beliefs with awareness and reason.
Throughout history, humans have tried to organize societies in different ways. We have argued about power, justice, rights, and responsibilities. Who should lead? How should decisions be made? What is a fair system? These questions led to different political and social schools of thought. Let's explore 5 major ones: Liberalism, Conservatism, Socialism, Communism, and Fascism. First, Liberalism. Liberalism focuses on individual freedom. It says that each person has natural rights, like freedom of speech and freedom of choice. The government should protect these rights, but not interfere too much in people's lives. Democracy and human rights are central ideas. Important thinkers include John Locke and John Stuart Mill. Second, Conservatism. Conservatism values tradition, stability, and social order. Rapid change can be dangerous, so society should respect cultural and historical foundations. Family, religion, and community are important to maintain stability. Edmund Burke is one of the founders of this philosophy. Third, Socialism. Socialism says that the economy and society should work together to reduce inequality. The government or the community should control key industries to ensure fair distribution of wealth. The goal is to give everyone equal opportunities in life. Examples of socialist ideas appear in many modern welfare states. Fourth, Communism. Communism imagines a society without classes, where there is no private ownership of major resources. Everything is shared by the community. The idea is that without rich and poor, there will be no exploitation. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels are the main theorists. Some countries tried to apply communism fully, but the results have been complex and often controversial. Fifth, Fascism. Fascism believes in strong, centralized leadership and extreme loyalty to the nation. The leader holds almost total power. Individual freedom is reduced in favor of national unity and control. This system has often led to oppression and war. Examples include Mussolini's Italy and Nazi Germany. There are many other schools, such as anarchism, nationalism, and libertarianism. But the key idea is this: political and social schools of thought help us understand how power works, who has it, how it is used, and what values shape society. These schools influence governments, laws, education, media, and even how people think about each other. When you listen to politicians argue or watch a debate about personal freedom versus public safety, understanding these ideas helps you see what is really happening beneath the surface. So far in this series, we have explored how ideas help us think and how ideas shape power and society. In Part 4, we will look at economic schools of thought and see how ideas about money, trade, and wealth impact everyday life around the world. Continue to Part 4 when you are ready. Every society must decide how money, resources, and opportunities are shared. These decisions shape the quality of life for everyone and define how the economy works. Economic schools of thought are different ways of understanding wealth, trade, value, and production. Let's explore 5 major ones: capitalism, Marxist economics, Keynesian economics, neoliberalism, and mixed economies. First, capitalism. Capitalism is based on private property and free markets. Individuals and companies compete to create products and services. Prices are determined by supply and demand. Competition leads to innovation and growth. However, capitalism can also create inequality because those who have more capital usually gain even more. Adam Smith is seen as the father of modern capitalism. Second, Marxist economics. Marxist economics argues that capitalism is unfair because workers create value, but owners take most of the profit. In a Marxist model, there would be no private ownership of major industries. Workers would own the means of production together. The goal is equality and the end of class divisions. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels developed these ideas. Third, Keynesian economics. Keynesian economics says governments should help stabilize the economy. During recessions, the government should spend more money to create jobs and increase demand. When the economy is strong, spending should be reduced. This approach aims to prevent long economic crises. It is named after John Maynard Keynes. Fourth, Neoliberalism. Neoliberalism supports strong market competition and encourages privatization of industries and global free trade. Government involvement should be minimal so businesses can grow more freely. This system led to globalization and international markets. However, critics say it can increase inequality and reduce worker protections. Fifth, mixed economies. Most countries today use a mixed system. There is a balance between the free market and government support. Private businesses exist, but the government still provides services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The goal is to combine the strengths of capitalism with the protections seen in socialist policies. So what do these schools teach us? They show that money is not just numbers. It is connected to power, freedom, fairness, and opportunity. Economics affects the price of food, the salary we receive, and the life we are able to live. Economic ideas shape our world just as much as philosophy and politics do. When we understand the mindset behind economic systems, we can better understand why different countries succeed or struggle, why people debate about taxes, inflation, and government spending, and how economic decisions impact our daily lives. In this series, we explored how ideas influence, how we think as individuals, how societies are organized, and how resources are managed. The more we learn about these schools of thought, the more aware we become of the forces that shape our world. This is the end of Part 4 and the conclusion of this series. Thank you for watching, and continue exploring the ideas that build our world.